Good afternoon. Thank you all. I'm Catherine, also known as Kathy, and I'm really honored to be here to speak to you on behalf of the Prairie children and their families. I know you were probably hoping for more Bill Hancock because he's a lot funnier than I am, but you'll have to settle for me. I pulled rank on him. You all saw our wonderful offspring up here, and I will tell you there are 3 more great-grandchildren that had to stay home in Claremore, Mexico, because they're under 4 and they don't know the words to that song yet. So that's why they weren't here. Everybody's talked about family, and one of the remarkable things about Melody, and became Johnny, of course, is that not only do their kids and grandkids and great-grandkids all like one another, but their kids' spouses, Bill said, Javier and Diana, they not only like us, but they like each other, and they all considered Mother to be their greatest champion. And this morning when the family gathered at the cemetery, Sedge said that all 4 of them thought that they won the mother-in-law lottery. And I think to have someone whose in-laws like her as much as they do is a great thing, and tells you how remarkable she was. Chris mentioned how many different sides she had, how many different careers. A writer, teacher, an activist, a sailor, lawyer, friend, wife, and mother. You all know that Mother was genuinely interested in everyone and everything. And someone said she was blessed with a joyful nature. And I think she did always wake up happy, looking forward and open to what a new day would bring. Jim described our parents' philosophy as open doors, open arms, open hearts, and open minds. They were tolerant of pretty much everything except intolerance, cruelty, or dishonesty. When we were growing up, our parents asked us to think about things. They asked our opinions about things, and what's amazing, they actually listened to the answers. They wanted us to always ask questions, look at the other side of the issue, consider the point of view of other people involved. They cross-examined us sometimes. Nikki says they raised us as if they cared more about what we thought than what we did. Now, that's not to say we didn't get in trouble from time to time. Of course, we all did. But even when we truly disappointed or distressed them, we always knew to know where to find absolute unconditional love. Allison has always said that they taught us how to love. And I can't think of anything more important that a parent can teach a child. You could probably study Nellie Perry's life for a degree in American history with an emphasis on human studies. She was born on the edge of the Dust Bowl at the beginning of the Great Depression, but she never felt constrained by her beginnings on the farm or from starting at that one-room Martin school. In fact, she believed those beginnings were the key to her success. She told me once that because she was raised in shortgrass country, she developed strong roots that allowed her to stand tall, turn her face to the sun, and deal with whatever the hot wind might blow her way. And of course, the winds did blow some unhappiness. Our father's cancer, the death of Will Hancock, her first grandchild, her Parkinson's disease, those were just a few of the unwelcome items. But even in the face of those things, she turned her face to the sun. Nellie's roots taught her the value of hard work. She worked on the Democrat chief when she was in high school during World War II. She worked in the laundry at Vet Village, which is also was known as, that's what married student housing was called at Oklahoma A&M when they were here after the war. She supported our family by teaching school in Midwest City so that our dad could go to law school. And she did that with 4 children, ages 3 to 9. And he was studying and gone long hours, and it must have been hard work, but she did it with a smile. Most of you know she worked really hard on political issues. Even when her efforts in trying to get Oklahoma to pass the Equal Rights Amendment failed, she never lost her sense of optimism about this place that she loved so much. And she really did always think that she would eventually convince you all to vote her way. Of course, she was always a writer. We were some of her most devoted readers. Last weekend, we found a poem that she wrote when she was 5 years old, in cursive no less. After she moved to Stillwater, she was still writing. She was working on a book about Vet Village and how the GI Bill changed the world. But then Parkinson's finally forced her to stop writing. In the 60s, most of you know that she was writing for True Confession magazines, and her children never knew whether to be embarrassed or amused or proud. It was a combination of all three. We read all her novels, and we thought the publishers of America were fools for not buying those books. Still do think they should buy them. Later in life, she won many poetry awards, and about 10 years ago, she wrote a travel article about her adventures on a rafting trip, and she sold that article to the Washington Post newspaper. It was in the Sunday edition travel section, the front page of the Sunday edition travel section, above the fold for newspaper people. We were very proud of her writing. And of course, we're proud of her legal career, and I'm especially proud of it. I don't know any other lawyers who have mothers who went to law school after they did. Her first year of law school was my last year, and so we had so much fun talking about the law. But if you were her legal client, you had a fierce advocate. She always worked for what was right for her clients, and she tried to understand the person as well as their legal need. She was so proud to stand with her farm clients when she represented them in bankruptcy. She understood what they were facing and how hard it was for many of them to tell her their problems. And she was thrilled the time she was able to save a farm for a client. And of course, as a side benefit to that practice, she got to make bankers and their lawyers really unhappy, and she loved it. She and our dad took their ethical obligations as seriously as any lawyers I have ever met, and I've known a lot of lawyers. Many of you know they made extreme personal, financial, and psychic sacrifices to represent a man accused of the most reprehensible crime. And they did their very best for him. Because that's what their duties as lawyers required, and because they believed so strongly in the rule of law and in the right to counsel guaranteed by the United States Constitution. Mother was only 2 years out of law school when they did that case, and she said that's what made her a trial lawyer. And a federal judge who looked at it later said they did their very best under very difficult circumstances and that their performance was admirable. And their work on that case was truly an inspiration to many lawyers. Now, Mother tried to work as Daddy's secretary when he first got out of law school, but they had a little problem about who was boss. It didn't last long. She went back to teaching. But she loved being his law partner when they were on equal footing. He was so proud of her, and she was so proud of him, and they made each other better lawyers. Now, if you were her friend, and I think that's probably everybody here, you knew, as Nay said, the door was always open at 1300 West Iris. It was literally always open. When she sold the house, the first people who bought it from her finally put a sign on the door that said, "Nellie doesn't live here anymore." Because they got really tired of complete strangers just walking in the front door and walking back to the kitchen to look for a cup of coffee or a glass of wine. Nobody ever, that's how everybody came in. There was always food, drink, and most of all, conversation at the Perry house. And we loved it growing up, and we loved it when we came home as adults. Bill Hancock wrote in a column, "Nobody goes to the Perry house anymore, it's too crowded." I think he might have been paraphrasing some other sports guy. I'm not sure about that. But she was interested in everyone, and she just had a knack for collecting really interesting people. She actually wanted more than 4 children. In today's world, we all think about, but she did want more children. And one of the things we found last week was a really funny contract that my dad signed. It was a contract that was in his handwriting. It was witnessed by Whit and Judy Freeze. His kids are here today. And it promised that there would be 2 more children after law school. Now, that didn't happen, we all know, but I think Mother made up for it by gathering so many extra children and friends. Some of you who were here, some were related. They gathered exchange students, but most were just people that Mother really liked to be with. And I'll end by telling you something that was in that Washington Post travel article I mentioned. She wrote, this is what she said about Parkinson's. My disease, incurable and progressive, demands that I treasure every moment as a gift. Wondering when the darkness will come makes me pay attention to the light. Our mother, Millie Perry, never stopped paying attention to the light. She drew her children and her friends into that light, and she shared her remarkable self with us. We treasure every moment that we got to have with her, and we thank you all for being our friends and for being with us today.
Kathy is the last of the speakers, but there's a step up here.